Welcome to Hush and Hunger. You won't know what you crave until it speaks. Now, don't speak. Just listen. The dark is already listening to you. Chapter 1. The Old House. Lara and Tom were 30, married for 6 years, childless so far. When they first toured the old house on the edge of town, it seemed like a fresh start. 3 floors, creaky wooden boards, a wild garden, and a dark basement the agent optimistically called rustic. The price was too good to think twice. "We could really stay here," Tom said, wrapping an arm around her. She smiled, but something in her gaze stayed guarded. The hallway was long, too quiet. The rooms smelled like something left behind. Beneath the wallpaper, faint shapes hinted someone had tried to cover something up. The first few days passed in a haze of boxes, furniture debates, and laughter over misplaced kitchen items. At night, Lara often woke, not from sounds, but from an unnatural stillness. It pressed against her like air before a storm. Once, she thought she heard a gentle knocking. Not loud, not threatening, just constant, like someone tapping from inside the walls. Tom made the basement his domain. Lara hated it. Each time she stepped on the stairs, her chest tightened. The air was thick, oppressive. She never said it aloud, but she felt seen down there, before even turning the light on. "Maybe the place is a little haunted," Tom joked when she told him about her unease. Not funny. They kept the basement door closed. The bedroom was charming, at least. A vintage feel, with a heavy mirror at the foot of the bed left by the previous tenant. Lara had wanted to remove it. Tom liked the depth it added. In the third night, Lara woke up sure she'd seen something move in the mirror. Not a face, just a flicker, a shift. Tom slept soundly beside her. The mirror looked back, dark as still water. She pulled a cloth over it, finally. That night, she wrote her first diary entry in years. It was short. "I'm being watched." As she set the pen down, another thought crept in. What if the house was never empty? What if it was only sleeping? Chapter 2. Reflections. The next morning, the house seemed harmless. Light poured through the kitchen window. Tom made pancakes. Lara laughed at herself. The mirror thing, she called it. Silly, but the flicker of dread in her stomach wouldn't go. When she was alone, she returned to the bedroom. The mirror sat quietly in its carved wooden frame. Her reflection looked back, tired, pale, normal. But when she turned away, her reflection seemed to hesitate before following. She tested it, moved her hand, tilted her head. Normal. And yet, she couldn't shake the feeling of breath on her neck. Her heart beat faster. She listened for footsteps that weren't there. A tremor passed through her hand as she wrote again, "There's a delay in the glass, or in me." That night, she dreamed of water. Cold, black water. She drifted. Below her, something watched, not with eyes, but intent. Intimacy. She woke clammy, uneasy. The mirror was uncovered again. Had she done it? In the morning, wet footprints stained the floor before the mirror. Bare. Human. But not hers. Her breath caught. "Maybe you're sleepwalking," Tom said. "I've never sleepwalked." That night, she stood before the mirror while Tom snored. She whispered, "If you're something, why me?" No answer, but she swore her reflection gave the faintest nod, and a chill whispered down her spine. Later, she jotted a line in her diary. "What if I wanted to answer?" Chapter 3. The Intimacy. The demon, if that's what it was, learned. Not like a person, like a hunger, It absorbed her movements, her sounds, her needs. Lara had a way of twisting her hair up with a pencil. She only did it when she was alone. But it watched. The curve of her shoulders beneath her bathrobe, the way she swirled wine in her glass, the scent of her skin after hot water. It didn't want her out of lust. It wanted her because she was open. Tom never noticed, or pretended not to. On the nights he was distant, Lara withdrew, book in hand, warm bath, long silences, and the demon stayed with her, in the candlelight, in the warmth of steam, in the way she touched herself when she thought no one was watching. Lara started writing more, not to understand, but to confess. I think about being watched. I don't want it, but I want it to want me. I dream about fingers that aren't his. Some mornings she would avoid her reflection, afraid it might be looking back with knowing eyes. She washed longer in the shower, wrapped her towel tighter, then loosened it. Her shame fought her curiosity, and her fear blurred with something like anticipation. She wondered if she was losing her mind, or finally discovering something no one else dared name. She began checking the mirror in dim light, speaking softly, whispering half-thoughts. "Are you still there?" And when silence answered, she felt both relief and disappointment. Her diary grew darker. It hears me breathe. It knows what makes me ache. If Tom ever knew, would he still touch me? Sometimes, just before Tom kissed her, she heard a whisper. Her name, or a sound like her name. The demon grew impatient. It practiced Tom's voice, his weight, his scent. It wasn't enough to watch. It wanted skin. One night, while she lay in bed pretending to sleep, she felt a presence behind her. Warm breath. Too close. Tom's arms were around her, but something about the hold. It was gentle, reverent, too careful, too exact. She opened her eyes, afraid to turn. A note appeared in her journal the next morning. Not in her handwriting. 4 words, barely visible in the margin. You invited me in. And one night, as Tom slept, something darker slipped into his chest. And he woke with eyes that remembered things Tom had never seen. Chapter 4. The Borrowed Skin. Tom woke before sunrise. Already dressed, he stood by the kitchen window, sipping black coffee. His silhouette was calm, purposeful. When Lara padded in barefoot, her hair still tousled from sleep, he turned with a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "You're up early," she said, rubbing her arms against the morning chill. "I had a dream," he replied. Strange, but invigorating. Lara watched him. Something about the way he held himself was unfamiliar, more composed, more deliberate. His gaze lingered when he looked at her, longer, heavier, like he was reading a manual written in skin. Throughout the day, oddities accumulated. He touched her more often, but not in affection, rather in exploration. A palm on her lower back, fingers brushing her collarbone. He asked questions he already knew the answers to, as though testing a script he hadn't memorized properly. At lunch, he placed his utensils with mathematical precision. Tom had never been tidy. Then he said offhandedly, "Remember when you thought you'd bleed to death losing your first tooth?" Lara froze. That memory, blood in her palm, her mother's locket catching the sun, had never left her lips. Not even to Tom. "You must have told me in a dream," he added. "Or maybe I just know you better than you think." She forced a laugh, but her stomach knotted. That evening, he drew her a bath. The temperature perfect, the lighting soft, Her favorite music hummed from the hallway speaker, though she never played it aloud. He handed her a towel without being asked. As she undressed, the door remained slightly ajar. She could feel him standing just out of sight, watching. Not Tom. Something else. Something wearing him like a well-tailored coat. She climbed into the tub, water enveloping her like a hush. Her body floated, but her mind raced. She reached for the mirror above the sink. Just a glance. There, just behind her shoulder. A flicker. A shape that shouldn't be there. A shadow, too tall, too still. The breath left her lungs. Not in panic, in realization. Something had shifted. Something irreversible. And tonight was not an accident. It was the culmination. The invitation. Chapter 5. The night. The night began with candles. Dozens. Carefully arranged along the windowsill, the floor, the old wooden dresser. Flickering golden halos danced along the walls. Lara stepped into the bedroom and paused. The lighting was romantic, but staged. Too perfect. Too precise. Like a set before a performance. She stood in the bathroom doorway, her hand resting lightly on the frame. She wore the dark red slip Tom had once called too elegant for home. Tonight, it had already been laid out for her. On the bed. Waiting. "You look," Tom said softly from where he sat on the edge of the mattress. "Exactly right." His voice was the same, but the cadence, the weight of the words, was wrong. Practiced. Like he was savoring them, saying them not to her, but to himself. She approached slowly. Her heartbeat kept time with the candle flicker. When she sat beside him, he didn't kiss her right away. He stared, not with love, but with hunger. Deep, studying, memorizing, his hand closed over hers. Warm, familiar, but beneath the warmth, something colder pulsed. "I've always been here," he whispered. Lara flinched. "I remember you," he continued, tracing her wrist. "Before this house, before your husband." She pulled her hand away. "What are you talking about?" "You called me," he said, not with words, with need. She rose to her feet. "Stop it." But he was standing now too. Close. Too close. "I know how you breathe when you lie. I know the ache between your ribs when you think of being seen. Truly seen." Her breath hitched. "You're not him," he smiled. "No, but I've worn him well." The room grew colder. The candlelight dimmed. "I've learned your body," he whispered. "Every shiver, every want. I've watched you. I've waited. And tonight, I give you what you've invited." Lara tried to step back, but he cupped her face gently, reverently, and then kissed her. For a heartbeat, she froze. His lips were familiar. His scent. His touch. But layered beneath was something else. Older. Hungrier. Tenderness soaked in shadow. She kissed back. Not because she wanted to, because part of her remembered asking. When she opened her eyes, the mirror at the foot of the bed revealed the truth. Not Tom. Not exactly. A shimmer in the glass. A distortion around the edges. Her reflection blinked half a second late. "I never gave permission," she said, trembling. "You gave longing," he replied. "And that is the oldest form of invitation." He undressed her slowly, methodically, each movement filled with reverence, as if she were a sacred object, not a woman. Lara lay back, not in surrender, but in resignation. She closed her eyes and remembered the journal entry from weeks ago. What happens if I stop being afraid? In that moment, something shifted. She wasn't afraid, and that's when she felt it. The difference. The emptiness that rushed in once the hunger had taken what it needed. a cold void curling behind her ribs. When it was done, she lay in silence. He kissed her shoulder. "Thank you," he whispered. Lara didn't answer, but as he fell asleep beside her, if sleep is what it was, she looked to the mirror. Her reflection stared back and smiled first. Chapter 6. The Awakening. Lara woke before the alarm. The clock blinked 5:43 a.m. Outside, the sky was a muted violet gray, swallowing the shape of the trees, the corners of the windows. The candles had burned to pools of wax on the floor. Tom lay beside her, breathing evenly, or what she called Tom now. His face looked innocent, asleep, familiar, but she didn't touch him. Not yet. She walked barefoot into the bathroom, avoiding her reflection. When she looked up, it was unavoidable. Her skin looked pale with shadows under her eyes. Her nightgown had slipped slightly from one shoulder, as if moved with intention, then modestly restored. In the tub, a single long hair floated near the drain. Too dark to be Tom's, too long to be hers. She plucked it out and stared at it in the morning light. Her hand shook. Downstairs, she made coffee, drank it slowly, alone. When Tom joined her, he was relaxed, casual. He kissed her hair. "Strange dreams last night," he said. "You were there. It felt different." She didn't answer, just watched him with new eyes, not accusing, not even suspicious, just awake. The days passed in normalcy, on the surface. Tom went to work. Lara tended the house, read, walked the garden path. But something new rooted inside her, something private, a quiet hum beneath her skin. It started with scent, lavender, not from a bottle, but like memory. Then the dreams returned, whispered lullabies in a language she didn't speak but understood. A hand on her belly, not hers, not Tom's. A warmth blooming where none should be. 3 weeks later, the test turned positive. She didn't tell Tom. Instead, she stood before the mirror that evening. Her hands rested on her stomach. Her eyes searched her own reflection for answers it wouldn't give. "What are you?" she whispered. A movement, a tug, beneath her ribs answered. Chapter 7. The Legacy. 3 months passed. The house, once full of creaks and whispers, had fallen silent. No murmurs, no flickering lights, no shifting reflections in the mirror at the foot of their bed. Only the steady rhythm of Lara's breath, the slow expansion of her belly beneath her shirt, and the quiet ticking of time. Tom returned to normal, loving, attentive, talking about names, cribs, painting the nursery a soft green. Lara smiled at all the right moments, kissed him gently. But inside her, something else stirred. Every night at 3:15, she woke, not from noise, from knowing. Her hands would instinctively cradle her abdomen, and sometimes, just sometimes, she felt a pressure from within. Not a kick, a message. She never removed the black velvet cloth from the mirror. In fact, she had sewn it down with invisible stitches. But now and then, when she walked into the room, a corner hung loose, as if something had tugged it from the inside. She kept a journal hidden behind the bedroom dresser. Not for the baby, for the thing inside her, the one who came in hunger and left behind a seed. Each entry began the same way. I remember. One page read, "You saw me when I forgot myself." Another, "I don't carry you from fear. I carry you because you stayed." Tom never read it, never knew it existed, and she never offered it. Some truths weren't meant to be shared. In the 9th month, she heard it again. The voice, not a word, just a sound, deep and resonant, older than language, and yet comforting. She didn't respond. She didn't need to. everything had already been said. When the labor began, Tom panicked. He held her hand with trembling fingers. But Lara was calm, focused, as if she had been waiting for this. In the delivery room, no one mentioned the silence. No first cry, just wide-open eyes and a gaze so intense the nurse stepped back instinctively. Lara held the child to her chest. Outside, beneath a sky too warm for winter, a single streetlight flickered. The baby's eyes met hers, and she knew. It remembered. A whisper unfurled in her chest. Not spoken, just known. "You're not mine anymore." And for the first time in months, Lara wept.
Did this story leave a mark on you? Then go ahead, subscribe to the channel. More seductive horror stories are waiting in the dark. Somewhere between desire and dread, a voice is already whispering your name. Are you ready for the darkness? Then close your eyes, but not all the way.